God didn't let them love you because their hands were still soaked in someone else's blood. The silence you're hearing isn't absence. It's holy thunder in disguise. This isn't heartbreak. This is heaven protecting you from what you begged for in the dark. They left before your crown came in. That was no accident. God tore it from your hands because it was quietly killing your soul. You were never abandoned. You were hidden in divine shadow. He removed them, not to punish, but to prophesy your becoming. What you're calling delay is God's way of shielding you from collapse. They won't recognize you when your anointing finishes blooming, and that's mercy. You almost married the one sent to destroy you slowly. If it felt like betrayal, it was revelation. You kept apologizing to the snake that bit you. God is cutting that tongue. You're not losing them. You're escaping the fire. That door didn't shut. It was slammed by the angels. God is interrupting your pain before you make it permanent. They mocked your tears. Heaven remembers every drop. This heartbreak was handpicked for your breakthrough. What shattered, you will one day shake nations through you. He's not delaying. He's detoxing your soul. You're not too late. You're exactly when the war ends. They smiled while cursing your name. God heard every syllable. Stop watering what God sent lightning to destroy. Their charm was a mask. You saw the real face in the dream. This ache is your prophecy waking up. The storm didn't break you. It baptized your purpose. You're the answered prayer they're too blind to receive. He didn't change. They were always that way. You just finally saw it. God blocked their return because you're no longer weak enough to need them. That guilt you carry isn't yours. It was planted by a manipulator. He knew if you stayed, your spirit would decay. The ones who broke, you will soon need your healing hands. Some silence is sacred. Not everyone deserves a reply. You didn't lose them. You lost the lie. That relationship was a spiritual trap with a pretty smile. You are what the enemy fears, divine clarity walking. Stop asking for closure when God gave you escape. The warnings in your dreams weren't random. You weren't paranoid. You were prophetically aware. You don't need their apology. You need your peace back. That soulmate was sent to silence your calling. You escaped with scars, but you escaped. God watched you forgive them 77 times. Now, He's stepping in. They buried you with gossip. Heaven's about to resurrect your name. This pain is proof you're not numb anymore. God's silence is heavy because He's constructing justice. What was stolen will return in divine timing and double strength. They didn't get away with it. Heaven is patient, not blind. You've been warned in love. The next time it will be fire. God isn't punishing you. He's proving what's real. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Comment your favorite quote and subscribe for more. Your intuition is heaven's whisper. Stop calling it overthinking. You saw the red flags. But love makes prophets blind. God is removing them so the promise can breathe. What you called loneliness was divine isolation for healing. Their presence was draining your calling. Now it's being restored. You weren't too much. You were too divine for their taste. The one who keeps disappearing is being replaced. This is your last time grieving someone still breathing. They played with your loyalty. God is dealing with the price. You prayed for peace. This separation is the answer. He let it all fall so you'd finally look up. The betrayal broke you, but it also broke the curse. They'll say you changed. No, you woke up. That rejection was spiritual surgery. God is warning you. Stop dancing with what's draining you. Not every tear is sacred. Some are traps. You called it love. God called it captivity. They wanted your glow, not your soul. The truth hurts because your spirit already knew. You were never safe there. Heaven is calling you out. Their charm was camouflage. God is stripping it now. What left your life was blocking the miracle. They loved how holy you were, until your light revealed their shadow. This grief is God shaking the illusion loose. You didn't lose time. You gained vision. Be still. Your enemies are about to expose themselves. God will give you clarity so deep, no lie can survive in it. Stop fighting for what God has already buried. You're in the pain before the prophecy. The same mouth that cursed you will one day call you chosen. This loss isn't punishment. It's preservation. God didn't let you keep them because they would have kept you broken. This time, you're not rebuilding what hurt you. That's not love. That's soul erosion. Their silence is your siren. Listen, he's exposing everything you pretended not to notice. You're not hard to love. You were just in the wrong hands. What you prayed for is coming in a form you feared. This breaking is the birthing. Don't run. God is cutting soul ties with surgical mercy. That heaviness is the weight of divine redirection. Some goodbyes are pre-written by angels. They saw your value, but couldn't carry your calling. The warning has come in dreams, tears, and delays. Don't miss it again. You weren't overlooked. You were preserved. God will not allow you to love someone who kills your peace. That ache? It's what resurrection feels like. Their absence is louder than their presence ever was. You're not too late. The door is still open, but not for long. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Comment your favorite quote and subscribe for more. God whispered, not them, but you were too in love with potential to hear. They pretended to love your spirit. They only wanted your softness. You were loyal to someone plotting your silence. This delay is a shield. Don't fight the protection. Their absence is divine proof you don't need them to rise. What you lost was never yours. It was a lesson in disguise. Stop praying for restoration. Pray for release. The warning came through the way your soul shrunk around them. That door you keep knocking on was locked by God Himself. You weren't left behind, you were pulled ahead. The ones who ghosted you will soon call you chosen. He's not giving you what you want. He's giving you what won't destroy you. God is pulling you from the counterfeit just before it consumes you. The one you love isn't the one He chose. Don't chase what's cursed. Let it end. The ending you're resisting is the beginning of your divine shift. What broke you open also awakened your voice. They wanted to keep you small because they feared your awakening. God is pulling you out of agreement with pain. That name you keep hearing is tied to a soul lesson. You survived the fire. Now comes the flame of purpose. You were worshiping their potential while they starved your soul. This pain is sacred. Don't waste it on bitterness. They only loved the healed parts of you. God loves the whole. What you're calling heartbreak is holy interruption. He took them away before they became your downfall. Their love was a leash. God is cutting the rope. That relationship was a spiritual detour, not your destiny. The lies you believed about yourself are unraveling now. Stop trying to resurrect what heaven buried. God warned you in the delay, in the doubt, in the dreams. You're not being punished. You're being purified. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Comment your favorite quote and subscribe for more. God is warning you. Stop loving people who celebrate your silence. You weren't abandoned. You were shielded from something venomous. They didn't ghost you. Heaven intervened. What you called timing was actually mercy dressed as delay. You keep running back into what God keeps rescuing you from. The person you're begging for is blocking your blessing. God removed what you kept calling mine. This isn't heartbreak. It's heaven's holy evacuation. Your loyalty became your leash. God just cut the chain. They never loved you. They loved your weakness. Your spirit knew the truth before your heart could admit it. Don't chase the thing that begged heaven to let you go. You're not hard to love. They were too broken to hold light. The same door that broke, you will regret it ever closing. God is warning you. Stop settling for soul-deep starvation. They don't miss you. They miss your energy supply. Stop dancing in places God burned to ashes. Your discernment wasn't doubt. It was divine alarm. They fed your wounds, not your growth. You almost gave forever to someone temporary. What broke you was a disguise for what was breaking off you. They wept over losing you, not loving you. Your spirit was never safe in their arms. The warning was in how they flinched at your healing. That silence wasn't ghosting, it was divine interception. Don't ignore the way your soul whispered, leave. God didn't block the blessing. He blocked the betrayal. Their presence shrunk your truth. That's your answer. Some soul ties are spiritual prisons. You gave them God's portion of your heart. Stop trying to fix what heaven is trying to end. They weren't your mirror, they were your mask. God's warning came in the form of restlessness. The delay is Him untying your spirit from disaster. You keep loving people who drain your prophecy. They only held your hand when it stopped pointing to truth. You prayed for love. God sent separation. That is love. Don't mourn a door God shut with thunder. They weren't running from you. They were fleeing conviction. That ache is your awakening, cracking through. God isn't punishing you. He's pulling you from poison. What you saw in the dream was real. They smiled while betraying you. God saw their heart mid-laugh. That peace you felt when they left was divine confirmation. Stop confusing loneliness with God's protection plan. Their love was a leash. You've been set free. You keep rewriting chapters God already closed. You're not broken. You're being recalibrated for a deeper truth. God silenced them to give you your voice back. The ones who left didn't deserve the future you carry. You weren't too intense, they were too shallow. This suffering is sacred. Don't waste it on bitterness. They faked depth to keep access to your light. Stop explaining your soul to people without one. Their energy shifted because your truth exposed them. The delay was heaven's firewall. You're not cursed. You're being kept clean. Your silence saved you more than your tears ever could. They wanted your spirit dim, not gone. The red flags weren't subtle. You were in love. God's absence was Him speaking the loudest. The grief you feel is heaven detoxing your spirit. Don't let your craving outrun your calling. You were more loyal to their potential than your peace. They broke you gently so you'd never scream. Your spirit flinched every time they spoke. They didn't love you. They consumed you. The pain is loud because the lesson is sacred. God's no isn't rejection. It's redirection dressed in fire. You weren't ghosted. You were gifted freedom. Stop resurrecting what God let die. You called it destiny. Heaven called it deception. Their charm was camouflage. The truth is in how fast they replaced you. Some goodbyes come from angels. Your soul is done playing dead for comfort. They laughed while wounding you. Heaven didn't forget. You won't lose what was meant to love you back. That heavy feeling? It's a holy warning. Your heart wasn't broken. It was cleansed. The one you long for is the one God's hiding you from. They didn't fall off, they were cut off. Your prayers exposed the ones praying against you. You're not bitter. You're just finally awake. The grief you carry isn't yours alone. It's ancestral. They mirrored your love, but mimicked your pain. Stop calling it chemistry when it burns your soul. The message is in the ache. What they called healing was manipulation in holy disguise. They couldn't handle the storm they caused in you. You were never meant to stay where you had to beg. Stop watering dead gardens with sacred tears. The one God sends won't confuse your spirit. You broke the pattern they worshipped. That relationship was spiritual warfare. The apology won't come, but the healing will. What's being removed is blocking what you're begging for. You saw the truth. You just didn't want to be right. Their silence was an answer. Stop asking. Your discernment was dismissed. Now it's being fulfilled. You were their light source, not their love. What felt like rejection saved your destiny. They only miss what they could use. God didn't remove them to hurt you. He removed them to reveal you. You weren't ghosted. You were spared. Stop confusing pain with purpose. Your destiny is allergic to certain people. Their apology would have seduced you back into suffering. Not everyone who touches you was sent by God. You stayed too long, but you survived. This loneliness is divine detox. The end wasn't tragic, it was prophetic. Some connections were sent to slow your wings. They taught you how deeply your soul still believes. The heartbreak was time to redirect your entire bloodline. What they shattered, God is rebuilding without their name on it. This ache is your call into higher dimensions. They didn't change. Your clarity did. You weren't mourning them. You were mourning your illusion. Stop praying for restoration. Pray for resurrection. That loss was sacred protection. The love you gave was prophetic. They weren't ready. You knew it wasn't love, but it felt familiar. Your weeping watered your rebirth. God will never let peace coexist with pretense. They drained you because you glowed. The soul tie snapped when you finally let truth speak. That goodbye saved your legacy. What looked like punishment was the path. You weren't broken. You were emptied for filling. The one who's coming will never make you beg. Stop touching fire, hoping it will become home. You were never crazy. You were spiritually awake. This silence is sacred ground. Don't fill it with noise. Your absence will echo longer than their presence ever did. The pain woke up what comfort put to sleep. What you feel right now is a divine warning disguised as ache. They loved your softness, but feared your truth. You're not too late. You're just on heaven's time. God stripped them from your future, so your soul could breathe again. That fake love was a test you finally passed. You broke the curse the moment you walked away. Some people can't go where healing is real. You stopped being their supply. Now they call it betrayal. You were built to endure fire, not carry it. That final tear was your deliverance.